be joined by Ricky Polinori, the head coach of the Waterloo's boys soccer team, joining us live on the show. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Coach, I mean, first and foremost, what I like to just always start off with is let's just take a chance to meet the team, some of the big names you expect to be contributing for the Viking soccer squad this year, and some newer names that you think might have a chance of making an impact.
Oh, great. Um, I'm real excited to see some of these players show up on the field this year. I'm excited for my co-captain, Max Newkirk, playing out of the back, and Gabe Jones. He's my captain. Um, I have a new player. He's been away on vacation. I'm excited to see him play. He hasn't played in several years, but I had an opportunity to see him at one practice, and his name is Mason Schweitzer. I'm real excited for him. And my other co-captain is Isaac Biltz. He's a junior, and he's had some club experience, and he's really comfortable with the ball. He's going to be playing out of the center midfield this year. So those are the three top players that I can think of right now that I'm real excited to see at our first game.
You got this summer schedule, and you have scrimmages coming up before the first game of the season a little bit later in August. What are some team goals that you have for these last couple of weeks together, and what do you want to see accomplished before the season kicks off later on in the month?
Well, it's been a work in progress since I'm new to them and they're new to me, and I wanted to see overall improvement and to see us gelling together. Um, Overall, I know Waterloo over the years has, I believe, they haven't had any winning seasons, and our goal is to get that one game over the hump this year, at least to have a winning season. We want to be extremely competitive, and we want to have some of those games that there was a big gap between the scoreboard that we can close that gap. So those are some of our goals this year overall as a team.
What is it about coaching that you love so much, and why was it that Waterloo boys soccer you saw as the best fit for you?
Well, I've been in the youth program, and it's been several years since I've been in coaching, actually. But I was in a youth program in another area for several years, involving my children, and I decided to get back into coaching here this past year. And I was looking for something for a school that was small, somewhere that's near my home, and in the area. Um, and that's a couple of things that attracted me to Waterloo.
And when you look at this community as a whole, we know Waterloo takes their sports very seriously. It's kind of like its own little bubble. What makes this community so unique and so special in the time that you've been able to spend with them?
Uh, you know, I've I've been able to connect with the assistant coach. I've been able to connect with these kids. They're from like a rural area, and that's where I kind of came from in the youth area. The parents have been very supportive. We have a fair coming up, the Portage County Fair, and getting parents to join in and help out. We've got a little pep rally, pizza party getting ready to kick off here in a few weeks, and all the parents are excited to support the kids. So that's one thing I see that the parents are committed and the kids are committed.
What can this community expect from you as a coach and expect from this team going into this season?
What you're going to expect from me is commitment to them. Not knowing any of these parents or these kids coming into it, I give a full 110% commitment. To coming up with some practice plans and ideas. Getting organized, being organized for our games, our game day, and helping. Trying to organize. Some food preparation for the boys before some of the games. So you're going to get a total commitment from me. You're also going to get a lot of enthusiasm. I feel like I bring a spark to the practice field. Make games challenging. Um, so that's the one of the big expectations that parents can expect from me.
Let's let the community get to know you a little bit. How did you kind of fall into soccer, and what made you fall in love with this sport and made you want to coach it?
My children are in their 20s now. So I started in the youth program in another area, around 20 years ago. And then my daughter was a little bit more serious into it, and she played for the Soccer Vision Academy for several years. And I was able to just observe, and bring back some of the same flavor, the same goals, the same mentality to the area I was coaching in for the youth. Um, and I've seen a great success at the high school level with those kids that played, that I had the opportunity to be part of coaching when they were at their youth level. So I'm trying to bring in that same philosophy and an idea and training ideas, and during our training sessions. Hopefully, it'll show during the game day.
What are some of these games on your schedule that you're excited for the boys to have an opportunity to test themselves against? Obviously, you have your conference games on there, but what are some non-conference ones you're excited about?
Well, a couple games just that stick out without looking at the conference or non-conferences. One is West Branch. That's where my kids went to school. So I want to make sure we have a good showing during what we play West Branch and Crestview. They looking at their record last year and their score against Waterloo, very very dominating, and I want to be able to close that gap and make that game a lot more competitive. So it's two games that really just stick out for me, and we've talked about it a little bit as a team.
A lot of soccer coaches have different philosophies. How would you define your coaching philosophy that you bring to this sport and changes that Waterloo should be able to expect to see in their team?
Well, I want to be able to play an indirect style of soccer and keep possession of the ball. I want to be able to move the ball sideways and backwards and forwards, not just kick it directly downfield. That's the goal. That's the things that we try to train, and I'm hoping that we can bring that type of style into the game. Also, I see some levels of play in high school. The players are afraid to play to their keeper, and I see that in practice, and we've talked about it. They're just afraid of scoring on themselves, and mistakes are we make mistakes. These teenagers make mistakes, these players make mistakes, and it's okay. And I want to have that same mentality when it comes game day. They're going to make mistakes, and in the game of soccer, it's fluid. There's no time to fix things. You just got to brush it off and just keep playing. But I want to play the game the way it's supposed to look. That's my goal.
We're more than familiar with West Branch athletics and how close knit that community is and how serious they take their sports. Did you see it beneficial being as a coach now, coming from a community like that? And what are some highlight things that you've learned being shaped from West Branch?
Well, I was part of the girls' youth program for a long time there, and the girls had a unique competitive edge about them, and the coaches that were involved in it at the high school were very competitive. They know how to win games. They know how to win tight games, and I'm hoping I can bring some of that sort of mentality to Waterloo.
What have you noticed already about this team that kind of sticks out to you, especially the identity of it and how they get along and some of the culture things that they bring to the table?
The boys, they're very close and very supportive of each other. You obviously there's no JV there, and the kids range from grade 9 to grade 12, and they all are very supportive. They all have different levels of play with their abilities, but they really support one another from top to bottom.
Coach, I also want to give you the opportunity to shout out some of your assistants that you have and some of the other things that are really making this Waterloo soccer program go.
I apologize. That came across extremely garbled. I couldn't hear that.
No, I just wanted you to shout out some of your assistants and some of the other big names in the Waterloo program.
And Ty, you got something up with your mic. I think what Ty's wanted to ask is to give you the chance to shout out your assistant staffs and the people you have behind you that are making this Waterloo program what it is.
Well, first I'm going to thank the athletic director, Mike DeVries. He's been extremely supportive. He's the one who's given me the opportunity to coach this year. So that's number one. Number two, his new assistant athletic director is Kevin Longenecker, and he's helped me through this process. There's a lot of paperwork, things that I wasn't aware of.
just keeping me busy in the evenings. And my assistant coach, Kyle Biltz, he's coached in Waterloo for a long time. He's built a connection with these kids. He knows a lot of these players. So bringing him, alongside of me has been very, very helpful. And maybe, if so, the goal is to keep the soccer program alive in Waterloo, with coaches and people like Kyle Biltz, and maybe bringing back some of those certain styles that I may have if he likes it, and bringing that down to the youth levels.
And yeah, I think you brought up a good point with the youth levels. And what are some goals that you have for building the youth soccer level in Waterloo, and trying to keep this program going throughout the years?
Well, bringing Kyle Biltz on, I think is very helpful. He's part of the youth program, and I haven't had the opportunity yet to meet any of the youth coaches yet, but it starts with bringing him on, and trying to keep enough kids involved in Waterloo, and creating keeping teams, and also encouraging kids to play at other club levels, if we can. So I'd like to see that. There's a lot of benefit to playing to the clubs, um, in the area, and so I'm hoping I can encourage that down the road.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and helping us preview Waterloo boys soccer season. We look forward to our continued coverage of you guys, and we hope to have you on again real soon to talk about hopefully some success this season.
Thank you very much for inviting me.